right, Mo, so tell us about this woman that jumped into your friend's car. How scary is this?
Oh, my God. So I have a friend who genuinely always finds himself in the most bizarre situations, and I don't know why. I think it's his personality. I just think he's a magnet for it. And it happened again last week. And so Katie, him, and myself all went out for a BET event in which, Bert, you weren't here earlier this week when I talked about it, but we ended up getting kicked out of the theater at this event that we were invited to. And it was basically because when we walked into the theater, we walked in late and all of the seats were filled. And the first 2 rows were reserved, but the third wasn't.
Okay.
So we thought we could sit here and there was no problem, but they ran out of space for the talent.
Okay, here's why I know this is surprising, because I've been to a couple of the BET Awards also, right? And everything runs late from the start anyway. Like, if they say they're going to start at 7, it starts at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So you being late for late is shocking to me.
No, well, so it wasn't the awards. It was just an event. But we weren't late. We were at the event because it was like at the bar. It was in a movie theater, but it was at a bar in the movie theater.
Okay.
And then they were having a screening in one of the theaters.
Got it.
So we just didn't rush to the theater because we didn't really care where we sat, right? But when we got there, those were the 2 seats that were available. And then I guess they realized they ran out of talent. And for whatever reason, we were the first 2 people that they asked to get up. And there was nowhere else to sit.
Okay.
Now, they did email me and apologize. So shout out to BET. I appreciate it. But I was like, well, I'm not going to stand up on the stairs and watch this. So we all just went back to the bar. And, well, there was nothing else to do at that point but drink. So towards the end of the night, the 3 of us were pretty nice. And we left early. Katie and I left early. We obviously got to get up in the morning, but my dude stuck around. And it was just one of those events where everybody was feeling really good.
Sure.
And so he tells me that he goes to leave his car, or leave the place and walk to his car, and that he runs into 2 women who are actually like arguing pretty much on his car. And so he didn't know what to do because he didn't want to like interrupt them, but he wanted to go home.
What does arguing on your car mean?
Like one of them was like pretty much leaning on the hood of his car, but they're in like a really intense argument to the point where he was like he didn't want to, I guess, get in the middle of it. So he kind of just got in his car and hoped that they would realize like, oh, we're leaning on this fella's car. Maybe we should get off.
Okay.
But they finished their argument. And he let them. So he just sat in the car and let them finish the argument.
I mean, if it's a good one, all right, yeah, I'll sit there and I'll listen.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's like corny and petty and it's just going around and around and around, I'm going, toot, toot, like get out of my way so I can get out of here.
That's what I would have done.
You probably got 30 seconds to get to the real fight. And if not, then I'm bored. And then you got to get off my hood.
Right. So he waits it out. And finally, I think they realize, he turns on the car. And they finally realize, like, okay, this guy has to go. So one of them leaves, walks away. She walks away really quickly. And the other one turns around and is just kind of staring at him. So he's like, okay, what does this mean? Now, maybe it's my mind, but my mind told me you should have got out of there because I would have thought like this might be some kind of setup. I'm gone. Well, he doesn't react that way. He unlocks his door because she's like knocking on the window to get into the car.
What?
So he unlocks his door because in his mind, he's thinking maybe she needs some kind of help. They just got into an argument. Maybe she needs a ride, which doesn't shock me. This is his personality. He would do this. And so she gets in the car and he just says to her, hello, how are you? And she goes, hello. And then they exchange names. But she's not really engaging. She's kind of just sitting there as if she's having like an epiphany of some sort.
She's in the passenger seat?
She's in the passenger seat at this point. So he doesn't know what to do.
This stranger is sitting in his passenger seat.
And she's very comfortable. Like just not even speaking. She's just sitting there.
Oh, damn.
So he's like, I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, well, what happened? So he said, I gave her like 30 seconds to figure out whatever she was trying to collect. And then he said to her, well, what happens next?
It's a really solid question.
I mean, I'm thinking it.
Right? It's a fair question. So then she looks at him like almost in a dazed type of way. And then she says, I'm so sorry, but I have to do this.
Oh, God. Oh, God. This next 2 seconds are going to be intense one way or the other.
So then he goes, okay. And so she leans over and she just hugs him and she kisses him on the neck. Like nonstop. But that's all she did. And then she stopped. And then she said, I'm sorry, but I had to do that. And she gets out the car
Oh, now it's kind of sexy.
and she leaves.
No, it's still creepy
Oh,
AF.
wait, now it's kind of sexy.
It's giving vampire.
I was leaning towards creepy myself.
That's a very fine line, I guess. In my heart, it's a very fine line.
So I'm like, you didn't get like her name or nothing, a number. He was like, no, I don't think I'll ever see her again.
That's for the best.
I think
Honestly,
so.
yes.
I can't explain it. This was the way his night ended, and he just went home.
I think that's sexy as hell.
You can have that. That's all yours.
I want no parts of that.
Nobody else in this room wants that, so you can have
Not
it.
even a little bit.
The Bert Show.